6:45 a.m. Got my coffee and I'm ready to go over this. So, if you have ever considered to dye your hair black, I've got a few tips about that because I recently went from having bright red hair to blonde hair to black with gray roots. Now, this is like a whole year scenario I'm talking about. I did not immediately go from red to blonde to gray because I've been in the industry and I understand you can't just do that because your hair will fall out, especially if you've got long hair and you're applying like a shit ton of bleach to it. But what we're going to be talking about is going black with your hair because that can be very life-changing. You either find out what color you really like amongst doing it black, or if you're like me and you like to change your hair color about, I don't know, once a month, which is not true anymore, but I have done that before, you'll want to change your hair color again. So, when changing your hair color to black, or really to any color, I've got one tip that's about any color. And that tip is, do not use box dyes because they can have progressive dye, which means that like if you put developer on it again, it's gonna start going dark again. Or it could have metallic, which if you try and do something to it, it can really fuck things up because metal and hair dye really don't work well together. And if you go to a salon, you're gonna end up paying more for a color correction than you would just to do whatever because your color was done correctly. Okay, so that's that. Now, if you've already got a base that is dark, or really if you're going too black at all, you're not going to need to use anything other than like a 10% volume developer. Using 20 provides lift in some cases, and it's not really necessary for if you're just trying to go darker. Now, if you've got blonde hair and you're trying to go black, there's a lot more that goes into that because you're going to have to do like pigment replacing, whatever. I'm just talking about like if you've got like a medium hair color and you're going to black. So you're only going to use 10% because that's how this method has worked for me. I cannot speak for using 20%, but using 10% was what worked for me. So once you've decided, you've had this black hair color and you're ready to change it up again, what I did is I did a vitamin C bath, which is vitamin C powder and shampoo. I did not opt at all to use a bleach bath because my hair is really blonde on the ends, and at the time it was gray, and I didn't want to risk cutting my hair just to get it back to another color. I wanted to see, could I remove the gray with just the vitamin C bath, which obviously you can because it was just like a direct dye. So it was 1 part vitamin C powder, 1 part shampoo. You can do it with different like ratios, but that's what I used and that's what helped me get the black out of my roots. And I was using a permanent dye black, not a just like, oh gosh, what's that brand everyone uses? Like Manic Panic or Directions black. Like it wasn't a direct dye, it was like developer, color, mix it up, black. And so essentially I was just trying to do my gray out. I was well prepared to have black roots, but some of the vitamin C bath had gotten on my root and I was noticing it had gone brown, like a dark brown. You can see it's like a really dark but warm brown. I don't know how well my camera is going to pick that up. So I did it. The gray was just about all the way out, so I decided to do it again. And that time I also didn't really put it anywhere but on the gray. But then the second time after I'd done that, I was like, okay, wait, my roots are going brown, a little bit brown. They're a lighter color now. So the third and fourth time that I did the vitamin C bath, I was really focused on my root area because at first it was just like back here that had been hit with the vitamin C bath, and I don't want to just have like brown spot black. So I hit all my roots to try and buff out all of the black dye. Again, used with a 10% volume developer each time that I had touched it up. So you mix it together, you put it on your hair. I did a 1-to-1 ratio. You're gonna want it to sit, I did an hour each time that I did it, and I only washed my hairs, I guess that's actually more correct than my hair, every Wednesday and Saturday. So it was probably Wednesdays that I was doing the vitamin C, and then Saturdays I was just doing a good wash and a good conditioning treatment. When you use this method, it will dry your hair out. It's gonna be bad. The last time that I did it, I actually just hit my roots with the vitamin C bath, and then on my ends, I was putting a really good conditioner because like I could tell they were drying out even from just washing it out of my roots. So when you're washing it out, follow it with a good conditioner. I'd even put that shit on your scalp because my scalp got so dry. And let it sit in your hair for as long as you can bear, and then wash out your conditioner. Now, putting conditioner on your scalp may make it more greasy, but if you have to follow it with another wash day, then you can do that. Just make sure your hair is conditioned because this can be very drying. I don't suggest that anyone who's got highly damaged or already highly dry hair to try this. Or if you are trying it, try it with a different ratio so that you're not like drying it out as badly as I did. This method is known primarily to help with fashion colors, that being pink, purple, green, blue, the gray that I had. As long as you're not using a permanent color, this method is usually known to help remove those semi-permanent colors. I only had to use this method on my roots primarily for the black with 10% volume. I mean, obviously I did it on my ends, but that was with a direct dye, so I knew it was going to work. But for my roots, I only used a 10% volume developer and blank it out. I can't say that this will work with a 20% because I haven't used it with a 20%. As well as washing and maintaining my hair. I mean, I feel like I've derailed about this a bit, but if your hair is completely black, like root to end, you're gonna need some sort of heat to help it, because although I've only used it for the permanent on my scalp, there was a time where like, and I guess you can kind of see it, it's slightly darker right here, and this part is so far off of my scalp that I'm not surprised it's darker. In sunlight, you can't really tell, but in, I guess with this lighting, you can kind of tell. And for whatever reason, this side took better than this side. It might just be the lighting, it might just be the shadow, it might be that like my real root is coming in and I'm gonna have to like color it with a brown, but you get the point. So 1 part vitamin C, 1 part shampoo, put it on your hair, leave it for an hour. If it's root to end black, I'd suggest sitting in the sun, but be careful if you decide to use a heat tool to do so because you could essentially burn your hair off. I've done that before, but not with a vitamin C treatment, with something else, and it wasn't cute. And yeah, I did this about 4 different times to get it to where it is. I can't say it's going to work with 20, but I know it works with 10% volume developer. So yeah, I think that's all that I have to say. I haven't posted on YouTube in forever, and I'm not really going to be posting a lot, but yeah, I hope this helped someone, and I hope it wasn't rambling too much.